Ever wondered how to manage your money as a teenager? It's easier than you think. Welcome to our guide on budgeting with a teenager's income. It's all about understanding and managing your money, no matter how much or how little you have. We'll start by exploring the importance of budgeting. It's not just about saving for a rainy day. It's about making sure you have enough for the things you really want, like that concert ticket or the latest gadget. Then, we'll delve into the different sources of income you might have as a teenager, from your weekly allowance to the money you earn from a part-time job. But what happens when an unexpected expense comes up? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We'll discuss how you can prepare for these surprises without breaking the bank. So, are you ready to master your finances? Let's dive in. Scene script. First things first, let's understand where your money comes from. We all know that money doesn't grow on trees, right? So as a teenager, where does our cash flow originate? Well, there are three main sources: allowances, part-time jobs, and the occasional gift. Let's start with allowances. Many parents provide a weekly or monthly allowance to their teenagers. This can be a fixed amount, or it might be tied to chores or other responsibilities. Either way, it's a steady source of income that you can count on. Next up, part-time jobs. Whether you're flipping burgers, babysitting the neighbor's kids, or selling your own crafts online, part-time jobs can provide a significant boost to your income. You're not only earning money, but also gaining valuable work experience. Remember, the hours you work and the pay rate will determine how much you earn, so it's essential to keep track of these details. And then we have gifts: birthday money, holiday cash, or maybe even a random surprise from grandma. These are less predictable, but they can give your budget a nice little bump. Just remember, this type of income isn't guaranteed, so it's best not to rely on it for essential expenses. Now, why is it important to know where your money comes from? Well, understanding your income is the first step in managing it effectively. You can't plan for concert tickets, new clothes, or that latest gadget if you don't know how much money you have to start with. It's like trying to cross a river without knowing how wide it is. You wouldn't do that, right? So take some time to figure out your average monthly income. Add up your allowance, estimate your earnings from your part-time job, and consider any gifts you might receive. Once you've got that number, you've got your starting point for your budget. Now that you know where your money is coming from, let's talk about where it's going. Scene script. Ever feel like your money just disappears? That's where tracking your expenses comes in. Isn't it curious how a $20 bill can vanish from your wallet faster than a magician's rabbit in a hat trick? It's not magic, though. It's often the result of small, seemingly insignificant purchases that add up over time. That's why tracking your expenses is crucial. It's like shining a spotlight on your spending habits, revealing where your money is really going. Think of your expenses as breadcrumbs, leading you back to your spending habits. If you don't keep track, you might wander into the forest of financial uncertainty, wondering where your last paycheck went. But with a clear path of breadcrumbs, or in this case, a record of your expenses, you can navigate your way with confidence. Now let's explore some ways to track those breadcrumbs. First up is the good old-fashioned physical notebook. It's simple, it's portable, and it's reliable. You don't need Wi-Fi or a battery to jot down your expenses. Just carry it with you, and every time you make a purchase, write it down. But if you're more of a digital native, there are plenty of apps designed to make tracking your expenses as easy as tapping your screen. These apps can categorize your expenses, provide insights into your spending habits, and even help you set spending limits. And for those who love a good spreadsheet, you can create your own expense tracker using programs like Excel or Google Sheets. This gives you the freedom to customize your expense tracker exactly how you want it. You can create categories, set up formulas to do the math for you, and even create graphs to visualize your spending. Remember, the method you choose should fit your lifestyle and preferences. The key is consistency. Whether you're jotting down expenses in a notebook, tapping on an app, or inputting data into a spreadsheet, do it regularly. Make it a habit. With a clear picture of your income and expenses, you're ready to create your budget. A budget is your financial roadmap. It's easier to reach your destination when you know the way. So, how do you create a budget that works for you? Let's break it down into 3 simple steps: categorizing expenses, setting spending limits, and allocating money for savings. First off, categorizing expenses. This is where you break down your spending into different categories. These categories can be as specific or as broad as you like, but it's usually helpful to start with the basics. You might have categories like food, transportation, clothing, entertainment, and savings. For example, You're saving up for that awesome concert in the summer, right? That falls under entertainment. The new pair of jeans you've been eyeing? That's clothing. The bus fare to get to school? That's transportation. Next up, setting spending limits. Once you've got your categories down, it's time to decide how much of your income you want to spend in each category. This is where things can get a bit tricky, but don't worry, it's all part of the process. Let's say your monthly income is $100. You might decide to spend $20 on entertainment, $20 on clothing, and $10 on transportation. The rest? Well, that brings us to our next step. Finally, allocating money for savings. This is a crucial part of budgeting that often gets overlooked. Remember, it's not just about spending, it's also about saving. Whatever is left over after you've allocated money for your categories should ideally go into your savings. So in our example, if you're earning $100 a month and spending $50 on your categories, that leaves $50 for your savings. This can go towards bigger goals like buying that new gadget you've been dreaming of, or even just a rainy day fund for unexpected expenses. Remember, these are just guidelines. Your budget should reflect your priorities and your lifestyle. If you value experiences over material things, you might allocate more money towards entertainment. If you're a fashion enthusiast, you might spend more on clothing. The key is to make sure that your spending aligns with your values and your goals. And one more thing, it's okay to adjust your budget as you go along. Life is unpredictable, and so is your spending. If you find that you're consistently going over budget in one category and under in another, it might be time to reassess your spending limits. The goal isn't to have a perfect budget, but a functional one. So there you have it, categorizing expenses, setting spending limits, and allocating money for savings. 3 simple steps to creating a budget that works for you. Remember, it's not about how much you earn, but how you manage what you have. Budgeting isn't about restricting your spending. It's about making sure your money is going where you want it to. Scene script. Life is full of surprises, and not all of them are fun. Let's talk about how to handle unexpected expenses. Picture this. You've been saving diligently for that new gadget or the concert of your favorite band, and then out of the blue, your bike breaks down or your phone screen cracks. It's a bummer, isn't it? These unexpected expenses can really throw a wrench in your plans. But there's a way to tackle these unforeseen costs without derailing your budget, and that's by having an emergency fund. Now you might be thinking, an emergency fund? I'm barely making ends meet with my allowance and part-time job. How am I supposed to save for that? Well, the key here is to start small. Even setting aside a few dollars from your income every week can add up over time. Think about it as paying your future self. It might not seem like much at first, but it's a habit that can make a big difference in the long run. And remember, it's not about the amount you're saving, but the consistency of doing so. There are also creative ways to build your emergency fund. For instance, every time you get a windfall, maybe a cash gift for your birthday or a bonus from your part-time job, consider putting a portion of it into your emergency fund. Or how about turning your hobby into a side hustle? Love baking or painting? Why not sell your creations to friends or at local markets? The key is to have a separate fund that you only touch in case of real emergencies. This isn't the fund you dip into when you want a new pair of sneakers or when your favorite band drops surprise concert tickets. This is the fund that helps you when life throws you those not-so-fun surprises. By having an emergency fund, you're not only preparing for unexpected expenses, but you're also building a foundation for a financially secure future. An emergency fund is your financial safety net. When surprises come your way, you'll be ready. Staying on track with your budget is a habit, and like any habit, it takes practice. It's like learning to ride a bike or mastering a new dance move. It's not always easy, but the more you do it, the better you get. So how do you stay on track? First, commit to regular check-ins with your budget. Just like you wouldn't ignore a text from your best friend, don't ignore your budget. You might want to set a weekly or monthly reminder to review your spending. This will help you see where your money is going and if you're sticking to your budget. If you're consistently spending more than you planned in a certain area, like those extra caramel frappuccinos, it might be time to adjust your budget. And speaking of adjustments, don't be afraid to make them. Your budget isn't set in stone. It's a living, breathing document that can and should change as your life changes. Maybe you've started a new part-time job and have more income. Or perhaps you've decided to save up for that new smartphone. Your budget should reflect these changes. Now let's talk about rewards. Yes, you heard that right. Rewarding yourself for staying on track can be a powerful motivator. This doesn't mean splurging on a shopping spree every time you stick to your budget for a week. Instead, think of small, meaningful rewards. Maybe it's a movie night with friends, a new book, or a special treat from your favorite bakery. The key is to choose a reward that will motivate you to stay on track but won't bust your budget. Staying on track with your budget also means being patient with yourself. There will be months when you nail it and months when you don't. That's okay. The important thing is to keep trying, keep adjusting, and keep moving forward. Remember, budgeting is a journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. So, there you have it. Budgeting on a teenager's income is not only possible, it's empowering. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane and recap the main points we've covered in this video. Remember, budgeting isn't just about counting pennies. It's about understanding the value of money and how it can shape your life. First, we tackled understanding your income. Whether it's an allowance from your parents, a part-time job, or maybe even a combination of both, it's important to know exactly how much money you have coming in. Once you have a clear picture of your income, you can start making informed decisions about your spending and saving. Next, we dove into tracking your expenses. Whether you're saving up for a concert ticket, a new outfit, or the latest gadget, keeping an eye on where your money is going is crucial. By jotting down your expenses, you'll uncover your spending habits and identify areas where you can cut back. Then, we moved on to creating your budget. This is where the magic happens. By allocating specific amounts of your income to different categories, you create a financial roadmap that guides your spending and saving decisions. Remember, a budget isn't set in stone. It's flexible and can be adjusted as your needs and goals change. We also addressed the inevitable, dealing with unexpected expenses. Life is full of surprises, and not all of them are pleasant. A broken phone or a surprise party invitation can throw your budget off balance. But don't panic. By setting aside a portion of your income for unexpected expenses, you'll be prepared for whatever comes your way. And finally, we discussed staying on track. Sticking to a budget might feel like a chore at first, but trust me, it gets easier over time. As you see your savings grow and your financial goals come within reach, you'll realize that the effort is worth it. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Budgeting is a learning process, and every mistake is an opportunity to do better next time. Budgeting on a teenager's income might seem daunting, but it's a challenge worth taking on. It's not just about managing money. It's about building financial habits that will serve you well throughout your life. It's about learning to make choices that align with your values and goals. And most importantly, it's about taking control of your money so it doesn't control you. So why wait? Start your budgeting journey today. Whether your goal is to save up for a car, a college fund, or just to have some spare cash for the weekend, budgeting can help you get there. Remember, the sooner you start, the sooner you'll reap the rewards. So take that first step. Start tracking your income and expenses, create your budget, and stick to it. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve with a little planning and discipline. Take control of your money, and you'll take control of your future. Happy budgeting!